Tulbna's podcast, Judaism in Guinea, Israelites in West Africa. Today we travel into a corner of history few have ever examined. A place early missionaries, explorers, and ethnographers claimed held unmistakable traces of Judaism. A cultural world where the rhythm of daily life matched patterns found in ancient Hebrew law. A region where tribes along the coast, from Upper to Lower Guinea, kept customs, rituals, and beliefs that scholars, long before modern debates, identified as Israelite. This is the forgotten testimony of West Africa. This is Judaism in Guinea, Israelites in West Africa. Section 1. The 1860 Witness. Our journey begins with a source printed in 1860, long before identity arguments, before modern Afrocentric or Hebrew Israelite movements, before political agendas. The text reads, "Among all the tribes of both Upper and Lower Guinea, there are many unmistakable traces of Judaism. Not hints, not resemblances, not possibilities, unmistakable traces. That means the observers of the time saw customs so clear, so defined, so patterned after Hebrew ways, they felt confident enough to call them unmistakable." The text continues, "The existence of 12 families in most of the large communities on the coast. 12 families, a detail not accidentally matching the 12 tribes of Israel. Early writers didn't always know what they were looking at, but they recorded what they saw. Endogamous marriage laws, strict lineage separation, Sabbath-like rest cycles, and new moon observances. Circumcision throughout West Africa. Ritual purity rules. A tribal identity guarded across generations. These weren't borrowed practices. They weren't recently adopted from Islam or Christianity. They were old, ancient. They were Hebrew." Section 2. The Gold Coast, Time, Ritual, and the Moon. The 1860 source makes a stunning statement about the Gold Coast. They divide time into weeks. They observe the new moons with as much interest as the Israelites. This is not an African Islamic calendar. This is not a Christian system. This is pre-colonial West African tradition, untouched by foreign influence. Dividing time into 7-day cycles is not universal, but it is biblical. Observing the new moon as a sacred marker is not universal, but it is Israelite. So when tribes along the Gold Coast kept this rhythm, scholars took notice. The question then becomes, where did these patterns come from? How did they survive for centuries? And why do they echo the culture of ancient Israel? Section 3. Circumcision, Purity, and Family Law. The source continues, "Circumcision is practiced among all the tribes in Western Africa. Not as a medical ritual, not as an Islamic requirement. This predates Islam's arrival. This existed before Arab traders touched the region." And the same source describes strict marriage boundaries, rules about whom you could marry and whom you could not. These restrictions are strikingly similar to ancient Hebrew tribal law. Many West African tribes insisted on marrying within one's lineage, maintaining purity of family descent, passing blessings through the father, keeping genealogies, a traceable patriarchal households. Again, these are not East African or Ethiopian Jewish traditions. These are West African tribes on the coasts of Guinea, Negroland, and the Gold Coast. And the more these customs are examined, the clearer the picture becomes. West Africa was not spiritually blank. It was not culturally lost. It was not pagan in the simplistic colonial sense. It was a stronghold of ancient identity, a remnant of something older, something sacred, something Israelite. Section 4. The Map of Guinea, the Forgotten World. The map you've seen, titled Negroland in Guinea, is not fiction. It is an 18th to 19th century European map referencing Judaism-linked tribes, Israelite-associated customs, Hebrew cultural enclaves. Historically, Guinea was not one country. It was a cultural region stretching from modern-day Senegal, to Gambia, to Guinea-Bissau, to Sierra Leone, to Liberia, to Ivory Coast, to Ghana. Within this region, early writers documented Israelite-type laws, Hebrew-like family structure, ceremonies akin to Judaism, 12-family tribal organization, Sabbath-like rest days, Levitical purity customs. This wasn't the testimony of one traveler, but many, missionaries, explorers, ethnographers, and colonial observers, not working together, all recorded similar details across different tribes. The implications are enormous. Section 5. How did Israelites reach West Africa? 3 major historical paths explain the presence. 1. The 70 AD diaspora. After the fall of Jerusalem, thousands fled into Africa, not north into Europe, but south and west across the continent. Ancient writers record Jews living in Egypt, in Ethiopia, in the Sudan region, in the Sahara, and eventually along the Niger and into Guinea. 2. The trans-Saharan movements. As Islamic empires rose, Israelite-descended groups fled. Forced conversion, persecution, slave raids, religious suppression. Many migrated deeper into West Africa. 3. Indigenous survival of older Israelite migrations. Some scholars argue that the presence predates 70 AD, that Hebrews entered Africa long before Rome's destruction of the temple. All 3 possibilities can be true. In each scenario, the Israelites who migrated preserved their identity through a law, custom, ritual, memory, story, bloodline, and those customs survived long enough for Europeans to document them centuries later. Section 6. Why this matters for today. This story is bigger than anthropology, bigger than religion. This is about identity. The kind that survives when kingdoms fall, when nations collapse, when empires rise and enslave, when history is distorted, when memory is erased. The echoes of Israel remained in West Africa so strongly that even hostile, biased researchers could not deny it. The 1860 testimony stands as a witness. There were Israelites in West Africa. Their customs were preserved. Their memory endured. Their identity survived. And for many listening today, this is not news. It feels like recognition, like confirmation, like something ancient calling your name. Section 7. Pulling it all together. Let's summarize the core findings. West African tribes in Guinea showed unmistakable signs of Judaism. They observed new moons like ancient Israelites. They divided time into 7-day cycles. They practiced circumcision long before Islam. They used strict family and marriage laws. Many groups preserved 12-family tribal structures. Their customs matched Hebrew culture more than any other. Maps and texts from the 1700s, 1800s reinforced the connection. Scholars before modern identity debates acknowledged Israelite links. This is not revisionism. This is not speculation. This is historical testimony, preserved in old books, maps, and missionary records. The question is no longer, did Israelites exist in West Africa? The question is, what does it mean for the descendants of those tribes today? Closing. You've been listening to Tulvnas, where truth meets history. If this message spoke to you, like, share, and subscribe to Tulvnas on YouTube. The truth was never lost, only hidden, waiting to be found.